4 spots in the final were clinched. Now, a hungry Group 4 will push their bodies to the limit as they begin qualifying. Will it be the Canadian JF Caron? Will the young American Martins Lietzies come back, seeking to erase the memory of last year's 4th place finish? Or will the fiery newcomer Rongo Keane be a rude awakening for the vets? These strongmen will do whatever it takes to qualify for the final. Now, on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. Agamet Falls, a true wonder of nature, tucked away inside the beautiful tropical paradise of Samal Island in the province of Davao del Norte in the Philippines.
Brent Stover alongside Aaron Taylor. The country of the Philippines has been a most gracious host for this year's edition of the World's Strongest Man. 30 of the best athletes in the world are here. 6 of them about to dive into their qualifying round with the hopes of punching a ticket into the World's Strongest Man final. One of the guys to keep an eye on is a young American who many feel is the face of this sport for the future in the United States, and that's Martins Lietzies.
Yeah, Martins broke through World's Strongest Man a couple years ago, making the final in his first ever appearance. Then last year, just missed the podium, finishing 4th behind Brian Shaw, 4-time champion, who's the current face of the sport in the United States. Lietzies looks ready to make some noise once again, working really hard on his already impressive squat technique, and that bravado is never in short supply.
He's a confident guy, and with good reason. However, Group 4, he's going to see some stiff competition in this group, including some World's Strongest Man veterans. You've got Great Britain's Mark Felix, stronger than ever at age 52. This is his 13th appearance. Canada's JF Caron, his 8th appearance, and looking to best his 5th place showing the last 2 years. And Poland's Krzysztof Raczkowski, a 2012 finalist looking for another crack at the title. Also here, Sweden's big man, Martin Forsmark, and an Australia's Strongest Man title holder, Rongo Keane, making his World's Strongest Man debut. It's a group loaded with talent, and their quest for a spot in this year's final begins with the load and carry.
Yeah, the load and carry event here at Rizzo Park is proving to be a challenge for a lot of the competitors. The sacks this year weigh 330 pounds each, and the competitors have to move those down a 12-meter course. But then the fun begins with a 660-pound farmer's walk.
3 of the 6 athletes of Group 4 make their way to the start line. Here now a little look into these athletes in our Tachi Palace Power Profiles.
Krzysztof Raczkowski, Poland. I feel great because I not was here 2 years because it was injury. Every year was something. And the worst after all surgery is mental problem. What happened, you're scared so will be happen again. Here working normally, but here we need too much time to coming back to normal shape.
Mark Felix, Great Britain. I'm feeling great this year. I'm a bit lighter. This year in the World's Strongest Man, gonna make it 13 years. It's nice to be back. Last year I was injured. I'm up there with like 90%. I'm gonna be always straight till I cannot do it anymore.
My name is Rungo Yohaire Niriki, but everyone calls me Rongo. 2 years ago, I was involved in an incident. A woman was being attacked at this kebab shop, so I decided to stop the situation. One of the guys I fought with had a broken jaw. Because I was Australia's strongest man, I could have killed someone. I did 6 months imprisonment. I've been out of prison now for 8 months. And what I've achieved in 8 months is not by luck, it's by hard work. It's okay, you're welcome. Thank you, yeah.
Rongo Keane will see what he's capable of. One of those electric personalities when he walks into the room. How can he do in this event, though? Right now, Mark Felix is the star.
Yeah, he's doing an amazing job considering that those sacks weigh 31 more pounds than he does. Rongo Keane really struggling at the top of the screen with an unorthodox vertical carry technique, but Felix looking impressive here early.
Mark Felix, the ageless one, trying to get to the World's Strongest Man final, and he's off to a really good start in the opening event as he comes down the final stretch.
Felix really known for his upper body strength and power, and he's going to blister through this finish line.
Mark Felix, one of my favorites in this competition, and he makes an early statement in Group 4.
See Radzikowski here towards the end really struggling. This farmer's walk been brutal for a lot of guys as you see him cross the finish line there. And man, Rongo Keane up at the top, respectfully tapping out.
Leading after Heat 1.
So Mark Felix takes Heat 1 in the load and carry in a time of 40.31 seconds.
Well, that impressive grip strength with those big meat paws was on full display as the 52-year-old takes a hold and celebrates the first place in this heat.
Our next three athletes look like they're ready to go at the start line. But first, let's take a look at the Tachi Palace Power Profiles.
Martin Forsmark, Sweden. I work as a full-time police officer in Sweden. What motivates me is training. I think training is the funniest thing ever, and competing is also very fun. But it's also to make my family proud, but mainly I think it's a lot of fun.
Jeff Caron, Canada. I need to compete. It's like a drug for me. When you compete very often like me, stress is going down a lot. Each night I sleep like a baby, then just arrive at the event, I'm ready and I go 100%. I'm like a machine. I'm 35 now, I need to work hard. I don't want to go down, but it's the life, you know.
Martins Litzis, United States. During my whole time lifting, since I was a little kid, I have not really gotten injured. And last year, I got hit by like a tsunami of injuries. 3 months before World's Strongest Man, I had nerve damage where I could hardly use my right arm and just barely got my right arm usable for World's Strongest Man. All these contests are risky. There is not one that isn't. Being this hurt has been the roughest mental challenge. Every single time I thought, okay, I'm done. I'll go paint and be an artist. After I tore my lat, I still competed a week after, won the show, and then I thought, okay, well, I guess I can do this still.
Litzis an absolute beast. Last year he was 4th overall in the final. He's only 27, and without a doubt, one of the top contenders this year.
He's certainly been impressive, but so was JF Caron there, getting to the platform first with that kind of sideways straddle technique that Litzis uses here, who's just getting a tremendous lead here. Litzis, after a little bit of a slow start, really picking up steam.
Forsmark in the middle lane, a distant third. And here he comes in the near lane, the American Martins Litzis, powering his way to the finish in the load and carry. He wins the heat and wins the event for Group 4.
And JF Caron coming in 2nd overall with a time of 35:21 as we look at Forsmark, the Swede, really struggling with the 660-pound apparatus. Even though he's strong enough to lift it, it's that grip strength that this event is proving really difficult for many competitors.
Forsmark, one final push, and gets it across. Very nice effort for the Swede, but the story here, the winner of the load and carry in a blistering time of 31:66 is Martins Litzis.
And Litzis is just such a fun-loving guy, but when that whistle blows, he's all business, as the first place finish in this event tells that story.
So Martins Litzis of the U.S. leading the group with a time of 31:66. JF Caron of Canada placed 2nd. The 52-year-old Mark Felix from Great Britain, finding the fountain of youth, finished 3rd. Up next on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rove. The strongmen will take on the Circle of Strength, a true test of both power and endurance when we return.
The 2018 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man on CBS Sports is sponsored by Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino in Lemoore, California. And by Rogue, leading provider of American-made strength and conditioning equipment.
And we are back at the bustling city of Manila, where the athletes of Group 4 took on their next grueling event at Rizzo Park, the Circle of Strength.
And simple doesn't necessarily mean easy here, Brent, as the strongmen are asked to take a 660-pound tricycle for a ride. The longest trip around the circle wins. Let's take a look.
Guys, we're about to begin here. The athlete will be able to pick this up. Once he's off and carrying 300 kilograms, the go will be terminated if he touches the ground again. Good luck, everybody.
I was quite nervous coming and meeting all these guys, but now that I'm here, I'm ready. First time doing the event, one way to learn that World's Strongest Man, eh? It is what it is. You get something thrown at you, you shut your mouth and you get into it and get it done. Tell you the honest truth, it was heavy.
This problem, because all weight is in your hand. It's not heavy. It's heavy.
From Sweden, Martin Forsmark.
It was a tough event. Pickups really low, so I had problems getting in the right position. So with troubles breathing, I just had to go as far as I could without breathing so much.
J.F. Carone of Canada.
Something from here, over there.
It's so hot out here. Another thing is we were not told that we're going until we were going.
I start walking and I think I turn hip flexor.
Lack of warm-up sucks. Unfortunately, some of these other guys didn't have time to warm up.
Coming up to the starting line, I'm very focused. I'm in here to put on a good performance. I mean, it's always a good event for me. I feel like a joke in my knee. That's why I stopped. When I get in there, it felt great when I pick it up, and then I just wanted to just go. Coming up to the starting line, I feel my knee, and I stop on purpose. You don't feel like a tear. Okay, go ahead. You feel like a joke. A little bit of a tug, yeah.
Pick it, lean back.
It's brutal out here. The pressure that was on me was about 700 pounds. I trained for this. I just set up a yoke, try to go 150 feet with heavier and heavier weights. I thought it was going to be much heavier, so I'm really glad I got ready for something that was going to feel like an elephant when it felt like a gazelle.
Don't you quit, let's go, keep going!
When Beck is here, she definitely lights up my fire. Probably twice as ferocious as it normally would be. I just want to make sure I got the distance. That's why I did the look, just to see if I got the distance we needed. Got my little nod and done with it. I really wanted to win these first two to put myself in a cruising state.
Martins Litzis of the United States wins his second straight event with a distance of 501 degrees. Mark Felix manages to come in second with 458 degrees. Krzysztof Radzikowski of Poland in third. Litzis really making his mark on the Group 4 right now, taking a strong three-point lead. Mark Felix, an impressive first two performances, putting him in second. As we check in with Jenny Dell.
Coming up next at the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, the deadlift. At 640 pounds, our strongmen will reach down, grab the bar, bring it up to hip level, and place it back down again. But after every successful lift, another weighted barrel is added, going up to 835 pounds. Which athlete will have the most reps in 60 seconds? We'll find out after the break.
Welcome back to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. We are at Coconut Palace in Manila, Group 4, to take on their next test of strength, the deadlift.
Brent, this is one of the gold standards of strongman competition. Each barrel progressively raising the weight from 640 to 835 pounds.
First up is J.F. Carone of Canada, a professional strongman and gym owner in Quebec City. Placed fifth in both 2016 and 2017 in the World's Strongest Man final, seeking his fifth straight appearance in the final and sixth overall.
Carone is such an impressive static lifter. Now remember, he's had that hip flexor injury that he's been battling, but that muscle group isn't really used here, and he's looking pretty strong so far.
And now the fifth barrel falls in.
Now, Brent, as a reminder, it matters where these barrels fall into the apparatus. That one falls towards the back, which is closer to the fulcrum, making Caron's job even easier.
20 seconds.
He's got 20 seconds, as you heard him ask the official, to get one final barrel here.
Not usually a good sign when athletes hit their knees, but Caron's digging deep, and he gets it.
He fought through that, Aaron. You made a brilliant point there, and he was able to battle after asking for the time and after going to his knees.
Just an incredible effort by Caron, who I think pound for pound is one of the fiercest competitors in the field. He just really seems to show the ability to ratchet up the intensity whenever it's needed.
That's, by the way, his favorite event, and he showed why.
Martin Forsmark.
Now Martin Forsmark of Sweden, his second World's Strongest Man appearance. His last was in 2015. He placed third in his group, trying to become the first Swedish athlete since 2013 to make the final. And by the way, Aaron, he's a police officer in Sweden.
Forsmark's currently in 5th place after 2 events, so he's got his work cut out here for him. Looking pretty good, but as those barrels drop into the apparatus, it gets increasingly heavy. He's going to have to really dig in deep here, Brent, to beat that 7 reps.
Here comes the 5th, and he is struggling, but he's able to get it. So now 2 more to go.
Brent, it's never a good sign when an athlete attempts a lift and has to drop it. He's going to have to dig deep and give it everything he has to get a 6th rep.
Rarely do we see that happen and then a positive result afterwards. And he checks out. 5 reps for Forsmark of Sweden.
Forsmark.
So he'll go into second here in the deadlift. And up next, it's the conclusion of the deadlift. The remaining athletes battle it out in one of Strongman's most challenging events. Who will come out on top? Find out next on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue.
World's Strongest Man on CBS Sports is sponsored by Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino in Lemoore, California.
We are back in the Philippines, in the capital city of Manila, for the conclusion of the deadlift here at Coconut Palace. 4 men have competed, with J.F. Caron in the lead, completing 7 reps. Martin Forsmark and Krzysztof Radzikowski are tied for second, both with 5 reps. Rongo Keane of Australia in 4th with 3 reps. And now 2 athletes remain.
Great Britain, Mark Felix.
Beginning with the man from Great Britain. He is 52 years of age, Mark Felix, and he's been impressive so far.
Certainly has been, and one of this sport's better static lifters, really known for his upper body strength, but this has been an event he's done well in over the years.
Of all the interesting personalities, he's just kind of the strong, silent guy that is here every year with a smile on his face, just quietly goes about his business, and he does it extremely well.
In the NFL, we called it the old wily vet in the locker room, and Felix certainly fits that bill.
Comes out strong on rep 6 now to tie the mark to beat at 7.
Yeah, keep your eye on that red barrel. It fell towards the front of the apparatus, and Felix is going to check out after 6 reps.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Felix.
So he goes into second. Impressive. The man from Great Britain with 6 reps.
Well, the sun has shone brightly on the career of Mark Felix. He's well respected and always seems to find a way to grin and bear it through anything thrown his way.
Representing the United States, Martins Litzis.
From the 52-year-old to the 27-year-old, Martins Litzis of the United States. Again, the number to beat in the deadlift is 7.
This young man is so powerful. Look how tight his base is, an indication that everything's in alignment, and equally, his muscle groups help to contribute to his overall strength to keep lifting these heavy barrels.
He was 4th in 2017 in the final in Botswana. His 3rd appearance overall here at World's Strongest Man. He's made it to the finals each of the first 2 years.
Just so compact and powerful, even with that red barrel falling towards the front of the cage, he's still able to get it up.
This to tie the number to beat. Can he get that 7th? There it is. Leedsy stayed with it and gets 7 to tie for the event win.
With a nice little kiss to the barrels, he thanks them for being good to him. But Brent, that's the face of a man who punished the 835 pounds of weight that bested so many of the other strongmen. If Leedsy can stay healthy, I think the sky's the limit for this young man.
From Canada,
So Leedsy's and Caron.
and representing the United States,
Caron from Canada, Leedsy's the American. They both got 7 reps, so they tie for the victory. JF Caron and Leedsy's, you saw there at the top. Felix of Great Britain in third with 6 reps. Forsmark and Radzikowski tied for 4th. Here's Jenny Dell with JF Caron.
JF, you said to compete in World's Strongest Man, you have to like pain. You got a little banged up in the events earlier. How painful was the deadlift?
Hopefully the deadlift was not so painful. Doctors diagnostic my legs. Something is torn in the flexor and I've also an hernia. This event is more about back power and I just use the back and we'll be fine. And I'm happy because I know I have a lot of power again. For final, I don't need to push to 100%.
Thank you so much. Great job here.
Martins Leedsy's the United States, a 4.5-point lead on the group. Felix, the 52-year-old from Great Britain, is in second with 13 points. Caron of Canada, not far behind Felix. He's in third with 11.5. After 3 events, Martins Leedsy's of the United States has taken the lead over his competitors. Although he's going to need to push full speed ahead if he wants to stay atop the standings. Great Britain's Mark Felix and Canada's JF Caron are both right behind him, chomping away for their shot in the final. Who will make it through? Find out next time on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. For Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell, and our entire CBS crew, I'm Brent Stover in association with IMG Original Content. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Coming up on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, Martins Leedsy's has come out on top in all of the first 3 events, putting him in the lead at the halfway point for Group 4. Athletes will be physically and mentally maxing out to prove that they are worth one of the 2 spots in the final. 52-year-old Mark Felix of Great Britain is right behind Leedsy's, while Canada's JF Caron proved that he was not to be overlooked when he tied for first with Leedsy's in the deadlift. It's a tight race to the finish. We find out who's worthy of moving on right now. Welcome to the Southeast Asian country of the Philippines. I'm Brent Stover alongside Aaron Taylor as the athletes of Group 4 continue their quest to the final. Today we head out to the Quirino Grandstand where the athletes will take on their 4th event and one of their toughest challenges yet, the arm over arm.
This event has pushed the strongmen to their limits as they'll have 60 seconds to play tug-of-war with vehicles weighing 15,000 pounds. Now, they must remain seated throughout the entire pull of the course that measures 25 meters.
Rongo Keane of Australia was up first. Such an interesting man and the comeback he's made. Sent to prison for a 2015 assault of a man. Said he was trying to stop an attack. Here he is out for redemption. Pulls it 9.48 meters. He's one of the happiest guys out here, and he was certainly pleased with that result. One of the great personalities in the sport of strongman. Aaron, up next was Martin Forsmark of Sweden. He's a police officer back home.
Does a tremendous job here throughout his entire pool. Certainly not going to pull over those jeepneys for speeding, weighing the 15,000 pounds, but does just enough to be able to get 17.49 meters, an impressive mark.
Next up from Poland was Krzysztof Radzikowski. And you see him fighting it, but the arms and legs really in perfect concert. He was able to have a nice rhythm.
But momentum is key in this event, and once those vehicles start to slow down, it's really hard to keep going.
He was able to get it 13.27 meters. So Forsmark has set the mark at 17.49. This is Mark Felix, the 52-year-old from Great Britain. He's in second place after 2 events. And that's Magnus for Magnussen, the head ref, and of course, 4-time World's Strongest Man champion.
2 4-time champions are competing in this year's event. Brian Shaw and Zydrunas Savickas of Lithuania.
Mark Felix off to a nice start. He's going after it, no doubt.
He certainly is. This is an overall test of body strength. Your lower body, your upper body have to work in concert. Felix is so strong. What I like about him is that there's always tension on the rope, and he uses those big, powerful legs, and then his back takes over at the end, literally taking him all the way to the ground. That increases and maximizes his overall distance, which is why he's doing well here.
Gotta have that ab strength, too. I mean, look at how that works. The middle section of the body. He continues to fight this.
It would be hard enough for me just to do the sit-up part, let alone pull cars that weigh an amazing 15,000 pounds.
I'm telling you, Mark Felix at 52 has found the fountain of youth. I feel like we say it every year. He's been so strong so far this year. And is he going to be the first to complete the course? Almost there. Time limit 1 minute, and he does it. Mark Felix, impressive.
Just barely does it, Brent, by the hair of his chinny chin chin, 2/100ths of a second. But what was so impressive is that he got it done losing momentum there at the end.
Again, he's the first to complete the course. As you said, he snuck in under that 1 minute time limit.
This has really been an event that has been a separator, but he's the leader now, covering the 25 meters in 59.98 seconds. Again, look at that power with the legs, the arms, the extension of his back. That extensor chain really took over and takes a well-deserved break.
Manila, the capital of the Philippines, its economic hub, its cultural center, and in the heart of the city lays its historic roots. Manila's historic walled city. Brent Stover alongside Aaron Taylor here at San Diego Gardens in the Intramuros Historic District of Manila. More history about to be made here at the World's Strongest Man, with 2 more spots up for grabs into the final as we arrive at the conclusion of Group 4's qualifying round.
Well, the story so far in this group has been the impressive dominance of Martins Licis from the United States. He's off to a blistering start, flat out winning the first 2 events, and then tying for first in the 3rd event, giving him a comfortable 4.5-point lead after 3 events.
And after the 5th event, the group leader gets an automatic bid into the World's Strongest Man final. At that point, the 2 guys in 2nd and 3rd place go one-on-one in a battle of the Atlas Stones. The winner of that gets the 2nd bid into the final.
And that battle's likely going to be between the 2 guys that are currently in 2nd and 3rd, JF Caron of Canada and Mark Felix of Great Britain. JF Caron having a solid competition so far, highlighted by his massive performance in the deadlift. 7 reps there, earning him a tie for first in that event. And Mark Felix, who absolutely crushed it in the arm-over-arm event, trying to be the oldest competitor ever to make it to the final at 52 and break his own record that he set back in 2015 when he was 49.
Amazing. And with that, we continue with the arm-over-arm pull when we return to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man.
Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man on CBS Sports is sponsored by Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino in Lemoore, California. And by Rogue, leading provider of American-made strength and conditioning equipment.
We are back here in the Philippines, where our first 4 athletes of Group 4 have already completed the arm-over-arm. Great Britain's Mark Felix is so far the only one who has completed the course. Sweden's Martin Forsmark currently in 2nd. He pulled at 17.49 meters. 2 athletes remain. Let's head out to the Carino Grandstand. See who's going to come out on top. JF Caron of Canada. He's in 3rd place after 3 events.
This is an event I expect Caron to do well in. He's got really balanced overall strength. But early on, that technique, he's not taking full range of motion. Looks a little herky-jerky here, and that's not going to get it done to get these 15,000 pounds of vehicles down to 25-meter course.
He placed 5th in both 2016 and 2017 at the World's Strongest Man final, seeking his 5th straight final and 6th overall.
You see his motions a little bit dislocated. First it's arms, then legs, then arms. Really struggling, and again, momentum is huge here. It's hot here in the Philippines, so those tires are really gripping the track.
Time to beat 59.98. That was set by Mark Felix.
Carone is so powerful. We've seen him dominate so many events, but this arm over arm proving to be too great of a challenge for the Canadian.
And now he changes up that grip a little bit, but he runs out of time. Well short of completing the distance.
Brent, I thought this was a classic case of Carone maybe coming out of the gates a little too quickly as he checks his hands here. That rope putting a lot of pressure, creating blisters for some of the strongmen.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, J.F. Carone.
So he is currently in 3rd in the arm over arm. He pulled it 17.02 meters.
Well, to compete as a strongman, you have to love the pain as you see Carone letting go of the rope, looking at his hands. The look on his face says it all.
Martins Leeds the United States. The Dragon, as some call him. He tells us it's for the fire inside him. Let's take a look at this Tachi Palace power profile.
Martins Leeds, United States. Last year was a tough year. I got hit by like a tsunami of injuries. Every time I got one, it was like, okay, I'm done. Well, I'll just go paint and be an artist. And then I got the invite. There was no way I was going to say no, even though it went against my training principles. It's hard to say if there's a lesson I could take from it other than saying no, which I'm not going to do. Not for a contest like that. All these contests are risky. There is not one that isn't. Strongman used to be just a bunch of strong people, and they would just see what they're capable of doing. Basically, whatever looked heavy and hard and was impressive to do, they would do it. Over time, the sport's evolved. The more athletes do these events, the more we discover proper techniques and proper ways to approach these events. Over time, we're going to see an even greater understanding of the sport than we do now. I'm going to be my absolute sharpest for every single event. If I could make it to, I will make it onto that stage again. Didn't come all this way, didn't push through all those injuries, didn't keep training for nothing.
You love the confidence, the moxie, the personality, the showmanship. So many different ways to describe this 27-year-old American, Martins Leeds. And his girlfriend cheering him on. You can hear her, Becca, cheering along on the sidelines, going through every bit of this with him.
She certainly does, providing that emotional support that many of the strong men indicate that they need to compete at this level.
Again, one man has completed the course. That was Mark Felix, and his time to beat is a shade under the time limit at 59.98. We are halfway there.
Leeds is going to have to dig in deep here. It looks like he's short grabbing the rope a little bit with his upper body, which limits his range of motion, the result being that the cars are starting to slow down.
He's the leader of this group after 3 events.
You see his grip starting to slip there. That's why all these competitors are getting blisters. He's now using the rope around his wrist to try and help out his impressive grip strength, which is failing him here.
And that's it, time limit. A little bit disappointing there for the American Martins Leeds.
Ladies and gentlemen,
but you know, Aaron, because he's built a nice lead, he was able to afford to not have much success here.
No doubt, he had a sizable lead, but he doesn't like to give in on anything. And the bottom line is the arm over the arm got the better of him as we see Mark Felix celebrating victory. And here he is with Jenny Dell.
Mark, you're the only one in the group that was able to successfully complete that. Tell me about your technique there.
Well, it's a very good event for me, something that I practice a lot. I mean, I always practice with the 1-2 arm close together, use loads of legs. You know, you have to wait up a bit to see where you get the most strength from. So I just did that speed and just keep it rolling.
It looked like you were going all the way down with those pulls. How do you practice this at home?
Well, I practice with dead weight. So it's just dead weight all the way. So it's harder at home than this one. I know once I get it moving and I keep the momentum, it's going to come.
Great job on this event.
Thank you.
So Felix gets the win here. He's still trying to break his own record for oldest athlete to reach the final, which he did back in 2015 at age 49. Martin Forsmark pulling for 17.49 meters. He's in second. JF Caron finished third. So Martins leads. He's still cruising the lead, 20.5 points. Mark Felix in second. And don't forget, after this next defense, the leader gets an automatic berth into the final. When we return to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue, the athletes will take on the overhead press. With Leetsies just 1.5 points ahead of Felix after 4 events, it's a fight to the finish for that automatic qualification into the final.
Growing up, I remember my friend recorded on the VHS tapes World's Strongest Man, and I just fell in love with the sport and was hoping to someday be able to compete myself.
My first kind of real inspiration, I guess, was like Magnus Magnuson, and then started competing against, Marius and then Zadrunas and people like that, that I looked up to from a young age.
As kids, we always dream about being professional athletes, and I get to compete with guys I watched on TV when I was growing up. So it's surreal. It's an absolutely amazing experience.
And next is the overhead press.
4 single-arm dumbbell lifts ranging from 200 to 265 pounds.
And where Rongo Keen's story of redemption continues.
In New Zealand, that's called a haka. We do that before war, but we also do that to show a sign of respect. 7 months ago, I was sitting in a prison cell with a picture of World's Strongest Man on my wall, and I dreamed to be here one day. I want the world to know the warrior, what I'm about, who I am, and that's what I am. Warrior. I've been out of prison for 8 months. When that whistle blows, the warrior is here.
Dumbbell is pressing. I like pressing events.
Some of them might be bigger, stronger, better looking than me, but I know for a fact that I'm coming here with fire and a heart. Fire and heart can take you a lot of places.
I don't think about final events now. Now I think about group events. But if I survive group events and I go to final, I give 150 proton in final for me.
Krzysztof Ratzikowski.
I can compete against me. And if another athlete beat you, is just stronger. That's it.
I feel great coming back my second time to World's Strongest Man. My goal is to try to push my limits.
Currently been in the final for the past 5-6 years.
My discipline is more and more effective each year.
But I need to perform my best in every event and make sure to not make any mistakes and see how long that lasts.
Yes!
It means so much to me. I've been training so hard. It's going to be good this year.
Qualifying to the 2018 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man Final, Martins Leetsies.
3 times in 3 years, dream come true. I'm here to podium. I'm here to win it.
Steve Power.
Martins Leetsies of the United States takes second in the overhead press. Krzysztof Ratzikowski of Poland completes 4 dumbbells in a time of 51.99 to win the event. JF Caron gets it in a time of 31.27. With that, Martins Leetsies moves on automatically to the final. Only 1 spot remains. Felix and Caron in second and third battle it out in the stones for that second spot. So after the break, Great Britain's Mark Felix and Canada's JF Caron will go head-to-head in the most intense strongman event yet, the Atlas Stones. Who will go on to join Leetsies in the final? We find out next.
Strongest Man on CBS Sports is sponsored by Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino in Lemoore, California.
Welcome back to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue. The remaining two athletes go head-to-head in the final event of the qualifiers at Bonifacio Global City in Manila, the Atlas Stones.
And Brent, how fitting it is with so much at stake that we're going to the gold standard of strength athletics, the Atlas Stones, where the athletes will have 60 seconds to lift stones ranging from 330 to 440 pounds in ascending order up onto platforms. A total of 1,845 pounds of punishment.
Representing
You want
Great
drama,
Britain,
we've got it.
Mark
These two
Felix.
men, Mark Felix of Great Britain, at 52 years of
On the
age,
right, representing
will take on
Canada,
J.F. Caron of
J.F.
Canada.
Caron.
The winner of this head-to-head battle in the Atlas Stones makes the World's Strongest Man final here in 2018.
This is as focused and intense and ready as I've seen Caron in a while as he struggles with the first stone.
So Mark Felix able to take advantage and gain a slight edge, although now it looks pretty even to me as they hoist up the second stone and Caron into the lead onto the third stone.
Caron really finding his groove, you're right, Brent. As he makes his way to the fourth stone, this is going to come down to the wire.
Felix is right there again. Fourth stone, head-to-head, winner of this fifth stone makes the World's Strongest Man final. It's a dead heat. Who's it going to be? A bobble by Felix. Caron struggling, gets it up and on. He's into the final.
Wow. Just an impressive effort by both of these strong men. But Caron, even more impressive than battling a hip flexor injury since the Circle of Strength, makes it on to the final.
And qualifying for a place in the 2018 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man final, representing Canada, J.F. Caron.
Yeah! 6 time now. Yes! Well, just an impressive feat by the Canadian. He's such a fiery competitor. You could tell how badly he wanted it. He dug deep and found a way.
And now he's with Jenny Dell.
JF, your fifth straight World's Strongest Man final. Your sixth overall. What does it mean for you to be back here in the final?
Oh, I'm really happy, Qualification started very hard with little injury. And I feel again this injury, but we have a few days to recover now. But I'm really happy. It's my sixth final this year. I'm not 100%. I don't know if I can beat my fifth place from last year. But, just being there is good. You see, everybody is better, and I give my hat to Mark Felix. I'm 52 years old. Keep this level high in the storming sport is very good. He's not a new man, I think.
It's incredible what he's doing at 52 years old, but you are the one that's going to the final, and you mentioned you're dealing with a lot of injuries, so what are your expectations for this final?
Oh, I just took each event at a time. I don't know, but I can deadlift normally. I feel this in qualification. My goal is win this event in final.
Congratulations on a great event, and we'll see you in the final.
Thank you, Jenny.
Yes!
So Martins Litzis and J.F. Caron have qualified for the final. Litzis qualifies for his third straight, Caron for his fifth straight. Mark Felix just misses. Still, though, incredible what he's doing at age 52. With just one more group remaining, 8 of 10 athletes are locked in for the final. Join us next time to watch Group 5 test their limits as they begin their trek to the sport's biggest stage. Who will rise to the top to claim the last 2 spots? Next time on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. For Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell, and our entire CBS crew, I'm Brent Stover. In association with IMG Original Content, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.